Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today I was going to look at the Matadors org again for like a Spotlight 2.0 kind of deal because there's been some significant changes in their org, but I'm also going to be merging this with talking about piracy, PvP, griefing, and some of the more polarizing subjects in Star Citizen when it comes to these. I was interviewing the leader of the Matadors about some changes to their org. They're an active piracy organisation in the verse, and one that players love to hate. We talked about PvP, griefing, piracy, all from their point of view, which is always a hot topic in game. The Matadors have been accused of griefing on various occasions, and I think that piracy, in many occasions, gets confused with griefing. For me, there is a clear difference though. Are you constantly actively pursuing or bullying or preventing someone from playing the game? That is much more likely to be griefing. Constantly ramming people on landing pads where they can't possibly get off, that would be griefing. If you are engaging in piracy, fighting players that come out of armistice zones, patrolling a particular area and constantly killing people that come out of that area, hunting down miners and cargo ships, that is valid gameplay and important. We need piracy for the counter gameplay of using escorts, risk reward, bounty hunting, driving the economy, insurance, emergent gameplay to provide human enemies and to fill out these outlaw areas. There is definitely an issue with there only being a little bit of piracy gameplay currently, and that Star Citizen doesn't support multiple systems yet. We need the literal outlaw zones in these different systems. We need clear boundaries at the moment, and we don't have them. But can piracy and banter push those boundaries into griefing? Is finding exploits at this stage cheating or testing? We'll talk about some of these and how they fit into Matadors in this video. So, who are you, and what's your role in the Matadors?
My name's General Aventador, and I am the leader of the Matadors Corporation. I've been running this org for about the last close to 2 years now, and we are a pirate org first and foremost. And basically, my role in the org is aligned with that of much of a CEO of a company. I just oversee most things. I'm in the game most of the time with the guys, but pretty much just helping organize the whole operation.
So, your org focuses on piracy and security. What does that mean in terms of gameplay at the moment?
Our cornerstone's basically free will and pursuit of the finer things in life, so to speak. So we just want to be we want to be the best piracy org and the most wealthy piracy org. And right now, the gameplay for piracy is kind of limited. I mean, we do have the multi tool now, so we can breach ships and stuff like that, which is very nice of CIG to give us that. But basically, we largely operate by uh, robbing trade lanes and uh, mining colonies and stuff like that. When the game goes live, we will be targeting those areas to basically take the spoils from people before they get them away. Um, and if there's cargo ships and stuff like that, we're willing to fight the battles to get the loot, basically.
So, what you're saying really is piracy for profit is the main goal, but does that mean that you're also trying to be entirely self-sufficient? Is there going to be sort of like potentially problems in outlaw space where you're not going to be able to have the resources you need to keep going? Or is there going to be some form of legitimate branch of the organization that helps bring you supplies that you need?
So I wouldn't say a legitimate branch of the organization. We don't look kindly upon legitimacy, but we do have everything in house. We believe that piracy could be possibly the most lucrative career in Star Citizen if we have the skills to back it up, and I think we do. With all of our things that we're doing, yes, stealing and stuff is part of that, but we do have industry trees, which is mining, base building, cargo, all the rest of that stuff. We are planning to be self sufficient. We are pretty self sufficient already, and we're nowhere near live release yet. So we will be looking after ourselves. We want to largely focus on having uh, endeavors sitting there making drugs for the cargo guys to run, miners in the area, because we're going to be operating outside of the constrictions of the UEE areas. I believe that it's just going to be, we're going to be left alone, so to speak. So we'll have more time to ourselves to actually pillage areas of minerals and resources for ourselves.
So how much of your gameplay is going to be focused on PvP rather than PvE then?
Well, we're definitely not 100% PvP. Largely, the gameplay that's available right now is PvP, just because we're waiting on mechanics and all the rest of that stuff. But I think with the size of the servers that we're looking at right now, with a 50 player cap, it's quite hard to get involved in PvP just with Hurst and the New Moons alone. They're really large gameplay areas. So I think that the PvP percentage will eventually go down in the long run, but we will be doing some PvE. A lot of us are looking forward to Squadron 42. A lot of us love all the missions that are available right now. Yeah, PvP at the moment is our focus mainly, just because that's what we can do and do well.
And how roleplay focused is the org, if at all?
Well, we used to be very roleplay focused, but now it's just become kind of natural. We we have a lot of military vets in the org, and an equal bunch of actual active duty guys. So so people just act the way they are, really, and strangely enough, it just comes out kind of role playing. People like it, and it's actually started adding a hell of a lot more immersion to gameplay. Like if we've got guys coming in big ships, the smaller ships will give up the larger landing areas on moons for the big ships, and everyone's calling out what they're doing, and other people are guiding others in for landing. It's actually really cool. So.
At the moment then, can you give me sort of like a breakdown, a day in the life of a member of your org? What do you get up to daily? What's your gameplay entail now? What if I jumped onto the Discord now and jumped into Star Citizen with you guys, what would I be doing?
So, day in the life of our org, basically, you'll always be playing with others. We're a group, and we pride ourselves on that factor. Uh, Usually, you spend your time making friends on Discord, catching up on the day's events within the verse, what's happened. Um, we operate on quite a large time zone scale. So a lot happens in 24 hours. We usually have people on around the clock right now. So no one's ever really alone in the verse. We're always hanging out as a group or doing something. Um, it's kind of just what people feel like doing at the time. We'll just ask a few questions. Does anyone want to do this? What do you guys feel like doing? And usually we just come up with the best idea then. We usually host training sessions, depending on timings, and if it doesn't interfere with what we're doing in the PU at the time, then we'll host some training sessions for like dog fighting and stuff like that. And that's actually quite nice now because the PU's stable enough to carry out training in there rather than trying to get everyone into a single lobby and hoping for the best.
Can you tell me more about that training then for org members? Is it enforced, encouraged? How often?
Well, we've got some very highly skilled players. They never really hide any of their techniques, and they're always willing to help out if anyone has any questions. Uh, None of the trainings are scheduled. They just happen when they happen. and they happen quite frequently with our dogfighting groups. It's no way enforced, but we would kind of like everyone to be able to fight their own battles, especially since, it's quite easy to get outnumbered in Star Citizen when people call for backup. So we kind of have a good focus on training, but it's more largely, help with what joysticks you should be using, what keys you should have bound, what this button does, what that button does, how you do this, what's the best way to aim. So it covers a very broad spectrum of things. But right now in the game, dogfighting is the largest form of PvP. So um, we try and get all our guys up to speed on what to do in a battle.
And you say all your guys. So what's the size of the org currently? Do you have a maximum size in mind that you'd like to recruit to, or is it just no upper limit?
So the size of the org currently, as of today, is 80 members. All of those members are very active um, around all different time zones. Um, we kind of want to get maybe, I think 200 would probably be the cap, even at live. Um, we really want people who want to be here and want to play with us all as a community and our own type of group. Uh, we don't want uh, an email list or an org full of inactive affiliates, and we want people to be part of the family.
You've talked about you want active members, but what sort of players are you looking for actually recruiting? What sort of players are suitable for your org?
We're looking for new members, old members. We don't discriminate on, hanger size or anything like that. That's absolutely not a concern to us. You could have a Mustang Alpha, or you could have every ship in the game. We base no requirement on that. However, we are looking for players who have Star Citizen at the top of their list for gaming. So, with the game in its current state, we kind of need people who are passionate enough about the piracy gameplay, because that will technically be the future. As right now, we're all aware it's kind of, make your own fun to some extent. Some don't have the scope to realize what piracy will become in the future. And we're looking for people who are really interested in piracy as their core gameplay style. I mean, you can call it griefing or you can call it whatever you like, but without piracy, we literally have a logistics simulator in space.
So what we're really talking about is piracy gameplay, and that's what you're doing currently. So that's going to involve PvP with players, and it's non-organized from their point of view. So can you tell me that sort of gameplay loop that you're going for at the moment?
We're riling people up enough to fight back, and that seems to be happening a lot lately, which is quite good because it's adding an element of exhilaration for us. A lot of people don't fight back most of the time, but people have started fighting back, which is nice. And basically the gameplay loop is, right now we're doing a lot of escort runs with our cargo ships, because we are being targeted, which is a bit of fun too. Um, and we're going to start experimenting with the multi tool and seeing how we can, disable ships, with the EMP mechanics, and seeing how we can take over those ships. I know we may not be able to sell the cargo right now, um, but we can simulate that gameplay loop. I mean, we've got ships that are big enough to live on now, technically in space, log out in, which is nice because we don't have to spawn at, Port Olisar or anywhere like that. We can technically log out in the middle of nowhere and come back most of the time. So the gameplay loop is technically PvP with the simulation of, doing cargo runs, doing a bit of mining, um, you know, getting ready for what we are going to be doing when the game goes live. So I guess it's all just practice for now, um, but it's translating into a fun gameplay loop for us, and um, everyone has what they need. They have all their gear. They have all the weapons. There's a lot of guys that we can provide ships to borrow, and yeah, it's what we have now is a fun gameplay loop. So it's we're really looking at a game now, I believe.
So one of the things that we hear, especially with piracy, with Matadors, is the term griefing, piracy, trolling, that sort of stuff. And I do want to address this, or have you address it as best you can. So, I mean, is that sort of like any of the gameplay you go for? Do you lock people down in Port Olisar? And if you do, why? Obviously there's a huge difference between piracy, which is a legitimate, valid gameplay thing that we actually want in game because it affects the economy, it gives people escort missions, it gives an entire 50% side of the game for some people, piracy and outlaws, and that's entirely different from griefing. And I just want to know where you draw the line. Do you think you grief? Do you think it's all just piracy? And what is the difference to you?
I'm not gonna lie. Some of the things that we do would would definitely push the boundaries, and I can't say it's not funny. It's hilarious. But we don't do it deliberately to ruin someone's day. I mean, if we're waiting outside the armistice zone of Port Olisar and people are coming to us, then I don't classify that as griefing. If they are coming to us and engaging us, I wouldn't classify that as griefing at all. It's part of a gameplay loop. If you run into players in multiple areas, or track people down or whatever, if they've left, they had the opportunity to leave from the armistice zone. There's ways to get around it. As far as we're concerned, we're just fighting a battle. That's what we're doing. The way I see griefing is, attempts at cyberbullying and all the rest of that stuff. I might joke around sometimes. We all might joke around sometimes. But that gets the necessary reaction out of people to engage in gameplay. Now, some people might say, well, I don't want to engage in that gameplay. Well, that's fine. But you can't tell us how to play the same game that we paid the same amount of money for that you did. Everyone here has a different gameplay loop, but these ships are sold with guns, and what's the first thing that anyone says when they go to buy a ship? What does it do? What size guns does it have? You know, it it is a sandbox game with a strong PvP element in it.
So, I mean, that's an interesting thing you say there, actually. So, obviously, you are a banterous bunch, and your Discord and your org might be somewhere that people that are easily offended would get offended, definitely. Do you ever worry about pushing that banter too far? Do you feel that you've been talking in chat, is it ever become bullying or anything like that? Or I just sort of like I want to know, is there situations in game where you'd say, no, we don't do that. We won't say that.
Mate, I could give you a list with no end. Seriously. The fact of the matter is, in our Discord, we don't even have a not safe for work channel. You know what I mean? But it's 2018. It's the year of getting easily offended, and the Star Citizen community has very thin skin when it comes to banter because everyone is so invested in the game and financially invested and time invested. They've been waiting 6 years. Um, but I mean, our Discord is definitely not a safe space if you're gonna get offended at memes and jokes. You know what I mean? If there's memes that you can look at and you go, well, that crossed the line. You'll look at that on the internet and you go, well, I would never post that anywhere because that's just ludicrous. You know what I mean? But if you're getting triggered over memes and jokes, our Discord is probably not a place for you, but there's no way that we're gonna, you know, personally attack someone. There's no way.
So do you feel like you're styling the Matadors and their form of piracy to the org that people love to hate, sort of thing?
100%. It has to be, and maybe one day everyone will realize that that's what I'm trying to do, and maybe they'll calm down. But it's yet to be seen. So.
Obviously, the Matadors have gone through some changes in the more recent days. Is there anything that you want to, anything that major that's changed?
We've rewritten some of our lore because our lore was kind of taking us in a direction where we weren't enjoying the gameplay loop. We were trying to act like the good bad guys, and it wasn't sitting well with any of us. So we've rewritten some of the lore to be more of a gameplay style suited to the guys in our org who love to fight, who love to be bad. You know what I mean? That type of that type of thing. We've changed up a lot of that stuff. We've rebuilt our website. We've rebuilt the Discord.
So, are you involved in any community activities at the moment? Stuff like the Day More Rally, or the 4C events? Are you going for any of them? Are you going to get involved in any racing events, or do you just want to focus more on the Persistent Universe?
Well, as I mentioned before, we did some rebuilding and restructuring, and we're no longer participating in the Daymar rally. We were literally doing that to accommodate members who weren't really suited to our gameplay style that were in the org at the time. And we're more than happy to take part in community events as long as it interests us. If it's regarding PvP or big fleet style battles, we'll get involved in it. I mean, the ship expo has been amazing. Everyone's been up all night this week, waiting for entry into the new expo. Even though it's killing the servers, it's fantastic. We've got 25, 30 people trying to get into the servers all at the same time. And yes, as well, sometimes night vision is a part of that, but.
Actually, I'll ask another question. What do you see for, like, the piracy and outlaw mechanics being going forward? Is that something that you're worried that will lock you out of certain areas of space? And how are you going to deal with that? Are you just going to be quite happy being in the higher risk, higher reward sort of areas that you want to be in, or are you still going to try and get into the most secure zones?
Well, contrary to the popular belief that I don't read anything, there's a lot of posts on the internet about how we're going to never be able to get into UEE space or anything. But I mean, the reality is we've never actually wanted to be there. We've always wanted to be on the far reaches, doing our own thing. If we have to go to a UEE area, it'll be for a raid, and all the cap ships will be coming with us. But if not, we'll just be minding our own business on the sidelines. So
Have you put much thought into how you're going to divide UEC's worth of loot from, like, raids and things that you steal between the members on ships?
oh, most definitely. I mean, no one's ever going to miss out. Everyone's going to have everything they need. We want the org to to strive and become super wealthy, so it's just a well-oiled machine and it just keeps ticking away like that. We don't want anyone to, that's what I said. If we have a member join with a Mustang Alpha and there's something that they want, we want to be able to provide it to them without having to think about it. We can do that now 10 times over. That is our goal, to become the well-oiled machine that never has to worry about anything.
So I know you're involved with pushing, like, and working out how the meta works and sort of like pushing bugs to their limits. Can you explain the sort of things that you do with that and your experiences with bugs and exploits and things like that you've helped poke to CIG's attention?
Well, anything we find, we report it. It's a big part of our gameplay right now. Is for some reason we find these bugs that are just absolutely horrendous, and unfortunately being largely PvP centric. Most of those bugs are to do with PvP mechanics. I mean, there was points that we could shoot inside Olisar, inside the landing zones, and we would push it to the absolute limit to see how much you could actually break it before it stopped breaking. The UEC money glitches, stuff like that. I mean, we broke it so bad that everything went negative and accounts had to be reset and all sorts of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all testers. Um, I think sometimes people forget that this is an alpha and we're meant to be completely breaking the game. Because if we don't break it now and it comes to life, it's going to be a terrible time.
Love or hate piracy, it is a brute fact, and a mechanic that is important to Star Citizen. And the same with the Matadors. They are a pirate organisation, and I am sure that some of their members sometimes can be childish or push boundaries. And just like any other member of the community, if that does go too far into the realms of racism, homophobia, doxing, or anything like that, then report it to CIG. But just being an asshole is not grounds enough in my opinion. I am not into pirate gameplay at all, really. I am going to be doing mostly lawful industrial economic gameplay when the game is a bit more developed, but I need that risk of piracy being there. I need that to help drive the economy. I need the risk reward. I need the more skilled pilots, people that are actually willing to take escorts and not take escorts to make more money and things like that. That's all needed. What isn't needed is griefing, and I think we can all agree on that. I am interested in knowing what you think as well, though, but please be civil. I know this is sort of like a polarizing subject to some. People have asked how do they get featured on org spotlights. At the moment, I'm doing them relatively erratically. However, you do not need to give me any ships or anything to be featured for an org spotlight. What I'd like you to do is come on to discord.gg/BoredGamer, and then basically, if you message me there and effectively try and recruit me for your org. I want to see links to your organization. I want to know what your organization does, because what I do is I will sort of like go through a list of orgs that I have there, and I'll go, oh great, there's some gameplay for that, or oh, I need to feature an org that does this, or I'll just have an idea. I'm pretty erratic as a person, so I sometimes just go, oh, I want to do an org spotlight, and I'll look through and something will grab my attention from an org, and I will typically feature them. Each day of the anniversary free flight, the Matadors are giving away 2 Star Citizen Drake Loot and Scoot Deluxe ship packages. They contain a copy of Star Citizen, a Cutlass Black with pirate skin, and a Dragonfly yellow jacket. Matadors are a Star Citizen pirate organisation focused on PvP. They are looking for active players, both old and new, who want to get involved with group play and focused piracy gameplay, but also touch on industry and exploration. They have a huge range of ships for their members to use and are pretty damn self-sufficient. They are a banterous and extrovert bunch though, so be aware. Some would refer to them as infamous. They are, however, giving away a load of ill-gotten gains on my channel as prizes, so who am I to complain? Please check out more information about them in the links below. To have a chance of winning though, be subscribed to my YouTube channel and then comment on any of my videos on the channel from the 23rd to the 30th of November. Each day I will select 2 winners from videos that were created that day and announce them all on the 1st of December. So that's 14 chances to win, plus the normal monthly giveaway of the Saber Raven. If you are considering getting or upgrading your gaming PC for Star Citizen or any other game for that matter, instead, consider the Shadow Cloud gaming service. It's a subscription-based service that leverages your internet connection to turn any appropriate device, whether it be an old PC, smartphone, tablet, and more, into a powerful Windows 10 gaming PC. It's been working well in the latest 3.3.0 PTU patch of Star Citizen. I'm going to try and maintain a best practices guide on my website as well. More information is available in the links below, and if you do decide to try it, use the code BoredGamer to get a discount. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the verse.